Going on, all you wild dogs out there? The two favorite uncles back here from the Chicagoland area. I am Uncle Logan Myers, and
And
that's
I
my
am
good.
Uncle Henry Hill.
Who?
Hello there. Henry Hill. Have you ever heard of him?
No,
Well, now you
never.
have. So we're back, me and Uncle Logan here. We made our list for our best and worst of 2025. We do this every year. Get together at the start of the new year and just kind of rehash and go through the movies and TV shows that we watched the previous year and pick out our favorites and the best and the worst ones that we watched. This year, 2025, had a ton of movies to choose from, and it really started off at the box office. We'll get into the movies first, but yeah, it was a big year for movies. Starting right away, like from January on. Usually, January's the dump month. You get all the bad movies, but we got some movies this year starting off 2025. One on my list of best. I'll go ahead and start it. I'm not going to do any rankings, but I'll sort of work my way up to my favorites. So I'm going to mention Companion, the movie that came out of there and kicked
Oh,
off 2025. You know, um, Coming off of Yellow Jackets there, the actress playing that, Sophie Thatcher, coming off of Yellow Jackets and starring in this movie. Had no idea what it was about. You had mentioned it to me, seeing the teaser for it. The teaser looked really interesting. It had like that 1950s kind of throwback vibe, but kept all its secrets, and you didn't really know what you were in store for until you went to the movies and watch it. And yeah, just an awesome movie and one of my favorites of the year for sure.
that was such a great one. Actually, was on my list going back. Today, I was preparing for this and going back at all our videos from 2025. I'm like, man, those boys review a lot
Yeah,
of movies and TV
ton.
shows. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds, and trying to, figure out the best. It's really tough to do with so many great movies coming out. But it was the year for horror, I think.
Yeah,
The best movies, my favorite movies of the year were horror. So horror's not dead. It's just getting
no.
better and better. The one that comes to mind for sure, one of my favorites of the year, Weapons. Weapons was an absolute blast at the movie theater. Had so many great performances in it. Just the set, the whole tone of the movie, like the whole premise of it. Just really an amazing movie. Like one of the best of the year. Just well directed. Just a movie that's rewatchable. It's scary. Like it has everything you want in a horror movie. Excellent flick.
Everything you said and more, for sure. I thought the same way. Amy Madigan as Gladys, Aunt Gladys, just really chilling. Zach Kreger, this up and coming director now from Barbarian, comes over and does this original movie. An awesome story, like well thought out. I loved how it was kind of, split up into different parts and everything made sense as a whole. Like, you're watching it and you don't really know what's happening at first, but slowly it comes together and the whole piece of it, just everything about it was really cool. The marketing, the whole concept with the time, this time at night, 2:17 in the morning, I believe, and all these children just sort of vanish at the same time, and the mystery unfolds after that. And then you have, Ruthie from Ozark coming in and giving another great performance there, Julia Garner, her first major starring role in a movie. And I thought she did a great job, really portrayed this teacher who's going through the trauma of that, alcoholic and all the other stuff. And just a lot of cool like imagery and cinematography in that movie too. I love the way he shot it. You just had this sense of dread throughout the whole time. And, and then going into the last act of the film, it just goes completely crazy. Definitely one of the best of the year.
Without giving too much away, but that ending was just really out there, not what I was expecting. An awesome time at the movie theater. Talking about Julia Garner, starring role, I should say. Forgot about one of the best of the year, Wolfman. Just kidding. One of the worst.
Yes.
It's going to be funny because that came out and this movie came out a few months later, but Weapons way better flick compared to that. The other one I was talking about, horror best of the year. I'm just going to go straight to the top here because that's how I like to do it. I'm talking about Sinners.
Smoke and stack.
Smoking Stacked. My boy Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. Love them working together. Definitely their best film they've done together. so far. I mean, they put out a lot of great flicks together, but this one just mind-blowingly good. Not what I was expecting. Just we're going to this movie. I heard maybe vampires. I'm like, okay, and went into it, just kind of setting up these twins, these characters back in the day from Chicago down south, and then it goes a completely different direction with the introduction of vampires. Jack O'Connell, putting out some the best villainous performances we're seeing in cinema as of late,
Yeah.
and incredible in this movie, vampire flick. Music, I mean, the whole scene with all the decades of music, just masterclass in filmmaking.
I agree with you. It had so much going for it. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan at the top of their games. Michael B.
Yeah,
Jordan playing these two brothers seamlessly, great acting, great performances, two different personalities. You believe all of it. He gets to do everything in this film, has the dramatic work, um, playing off himself and then dealing with these characters, these, Southern characters who are racist and having that kind of intricate in the plot. And then these vampires come along. He gets to do some action scenes too, of course, from the trailer with the big Tommy gun and just gets to do it all really. And I love the film as a whole. Like you mentioned that bar scene with the music going, that was tremendous scene. One of the best of the year. I still think about that scene, and that goes to show you just how special it was. Definitely, if not the best, one of the top three best films of the year for sure. And the Academy Awards gave it love. It's nominated, so it's going to definitely take home some Academy Awards, which is awesome. And I can't wait to see what Ryan Coogler does next and Michael B. Jordan. The sky's the limit for those two. They're just going to keep getting better. They're still young, both of them. Just imagine all the great films to come from them. So I'm stoked for that and was really happy with Sinners. You mentioned Jack O'Connell too, and just portraying this evil son of a bitch, and then we see him at the beginning of this year as another villain. So just seeing him blow up too is cool. And all the supporting cast in that movie too. Delroy Lindo is great.
uh,
Just a great cast, and very well done. The music, the setting, just the look of the vampires, the whole crazy scene at the end, and had everything. Pure cinema.
absolute cinema.
Yes. Yes.
Absolute cinema. We got Michael B. and Ryan Coogler, the new Scorsese and De Niro working together. That's kind of how I
It
feel.
is like that. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. But I'd put it towards top of my list for favorite movies of 2025. Just talking about horror. Another horror flick that came out not a few months ago, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is up there for favorites of the year for sure. Just a beautiful looking movie. Just the set design, cinematography, score, practical effects that he's known for. Just top-notch acting. Really great time watching that at home on Netflix.
It was definitely on my list too. Still think about it, just the look of it and everything. Perfect movie for Guillermo del Toro to put his stamp on. The gothic look and feel of it was amazing. The way it was split into the parts from different perspectives. The way that Jacob Elordi was able to do a performance like that just as your regular monster, but does something very interesting and just with his body work and the way his makeup was and everything. There was something about that performance that was impressive just alone, just based on that. Plus, he had Oscar Isaac playing the doctor. I thought he did a great job in it, portraying this kind of scientist going mad, and Christoph Waltz in there, a great cast. We saw Mia Goth, perfect for that time period. The aesthetic was all there. Frankenstein, the story that we've all heard, but Guillermo del Toro definitely put his stamp on it. And Frankenstein was awesome and a great movie for Netflix to put out. Very successful, and happy to hear that it was on your list and many others for the best of 2025.
It blew me away, and it was absolute cinema. From the comfort
Absolutely.
from the comfort of my own home under a nice warm blanket. Should we keep on keeping on with the horror? Or should we dive into other genres of favorites of 2025?
Keep it going.
With horse and horror. Easy there, CC DeVille. Other movies that came to mind in terms of horror in 2025 that I was surprised by, The Long Walk. We both reviewed this one as well. Didn't know what to expect. I don't know much about the source material of the book or anything like that. Just heard it was really good and very well crafted movie with a lot of suspense. Great performances here. Some really surprising scenes and some relatable scenes in this film as well. And had a lot to say. The script and directing the cast here really fantastic. Keeps you on the edge of your seat and you don't know what to expect.
The Long Walk. Yeah. Who could make a film about people walking interesting?
Right.
Well, this movie had it. Yeah, they managed to do that. Stephen King, writing this book and having it adapted. I think it was Francis Lawrence. Yeah, just the perfect director for this. And then you had Cooper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's kid, in this starring role here. He did great, believable as this young kid. Basically the premise is they have to keep walking, and whoever finishes gets, basically gets wealthy. Is going to be a wealthy person, whoever makes it all the way many hundreds of miles. And along the way, if you stop for too long, you're going to get shot. You can't stop. You have to keep going. And one by one, everybody that, we get to know slowly but surely gets picked off until the final scene. And of course, we find out what it is and, find out who walks away from that, or if anybody does, of course. But yeah, the other actor in the movie did a great job in there. Recognized him coming over from Alien Romulus. David
Johnson.
Johnson. Yes, we were talking about David Johnson in that role. He was great in it too. Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson together. They were great in this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. This had a lot to say, like you mentioned, very relevant to the what's happening in today's world. And yeah, definitely a great Stephen King adaptation for sure. Let's talk about our last couple picks, for horror genre anyway. We had a lot, like we mentioned, for this past year. I'm going to mention The Monkey, Osgood Perkins, this, monkey that's pure evil, basically is possessed and causes all these issues for these twin brothers, played by Theo James. And yeah, this movie was wicked too. A lot of memorable scenes. This reminded me a lot of like sort of The Conjuring with the possessed doll, poltergeist kind of type movie, but with Osgood Perkins' stamp on it. He does these minor nuanced things that he does in all his films, and you start to notice them in the more of his movies you watch. He does really interesting camera work and close-ups, and he tries things that are outside the box that you don't ever see from many other filmmakers here. And he definitely has a couple of great horror movies right off the bat in his young career. Of course, Long Legs, and now The Monkey. This one was really cool. The beginning with Adam Scott, you find out like what happened to possess this doll, and then you figure it out from there. But yeah, just a really good horror movie for sure. One of the best.
This is one I missed at the theater. I don't know why. I don't think it was playing around here, so I got to watch this one at home and really great, bloody, good time with this movie. Just incredible, grotesque, over the top death scenes, all the practical effects, and everything you would want in a horror flick like this. And Theo James is incredible. Osgood Perkins, per usual, we love him. Great directing and writing in this film. And Stephen King adaptation novel too. Tatiana Maslany was also fantastic in this. But just a really fun, horrific good time in this movie, and it was a pleasant surprise for me. You talking about this, finally checking it out, and I'm like, okay, I love this movie. So definitely up there on the top of my list for 2025. Great horror flick. Keeper was one of his newer films we just reviewed. Not
Yeah,
as good. The Monkey was way better. So yeah, it'd be my choice. Another movie that horror flick I enjoyed in 2025. You talked about The Gorge. The Gorge. That was a fun movie. That
Scott
was like,
Derrickson.
yeah, that's right. I was like, I haven't even heard about this, but Anya Taylor-Joy, Miles Teller in this movie, playing basically they're posted up in these guard towers, and all this kind of mysterious stuff beneath them is happening with monsters, and they dive into that. It's a movie I don't want to say too much about. Just incredible. Really surprised by this. Didn't know much about it. Didn't see any trailers. Nothing even about this. So it was surprising, a great time.
I was impressed by it too. Apple original movie,
Yep.
streaming, had no idea about it. Always liked Miles Teller, wanted to check it out. Anya Taylor-Joy, can't go wrong, I figured. Threw it on, not knowing what to expect. And yeah, I was really surprised and excited by what they did with this movie. The less you know, the better. But yeah, just seeing those two young actors work off each other, going into their prime, they were a really believable couple, and just the whole premise I thought was unique and interesting. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it, The Gorge. And I'm going to mention my last horror movie on my list. It just had the sequel that we just reviewed. I'm talking about 28 years later with Aaron Taylor Johnson and bringing the franchise back to life here. Danny Boyle coming along and directing a new film and, taking some wild swings, not just doing what he did the first time around. No, he's going to come back and give you, reach into his bag of tricks and show you some new things, the way he filmed it, as well as the material that we saw on screen, the evolution of the rage virus.
Yeah, this one was totally intense in your face. You saw it, if I remember correctly, before me, and you're saying, it was incredible. And yes, it was absolutely a blast at the movie theater, taking to this, into the new direction, new chapter, I guess, new trilogy, picking up with these characters. Just some really incredible cinematography in this. The use of iPhones in this movie was just impressive.
Yeah.
Great directing here, great ensemble. Love the kids Spike in this movie, the alphas, everything about this movie, taking a different direction, and hell of a movie.
Big Samson, introducing us to Big Samson. Yeah, just the dread that they build, Alex Garland coming back to write these, everything's great here. You wish it did better at the box office, but I think now, the landscape's changing. I think they're starting to realize, if the movie doesn't do too great at the theaters, that's okay. Well, it'll be popular when it gets out on digital, and that's the case with a lot of these movies. And that was the case definitely with 28 years later, and leading into the second one that we just watched, The Bone Temple, which we both really enjoyed, maybe even more
More,
than the first, if you can
a little
believe it,
more.
just because it's just so out there. Just took a wild swing there. Nia DaCosta coming around, just being impressed by that, taking over, having to take over from Danny Boyle. How was it going to go? And she did a great job. But yep, 28 years later, definitely a worthy addition to the franchise. It kicked off this new trilogy, and we can't wait to finish up the trilogy and see how it all ties together. We can't wait for that last one.
Yeah, the new title is 28 Years Later, Reloaded.
Ooh, that's
The
awful.
Matrix.
Right.
Oh man, lots of great horror flicks that came out in 2025, especially for those old horror dogs over here. We love the genre. It's our favorite. It's our favorite ones to review. And hell of a year. I'm looking forward to 2026. Looking forward to the new Scream movie. Bunch of horror flicks coming
Yeah.
out this year. Some more stuff to talk about throughout the year. What we love for, but pushing it up a bit here. There was quite a few, that old superhero genre that people love. Quite a few superhero flicks coming out last year that I had a great time. I saw all of these at the theater. First one I'm going to talk about is Thunderbolts. Marvel Thunderbolts, kind of the ragtag team of idiots and misfits and things like that. But just a really fun ride with this is Jake Schreier directing this film. Didn't know what to expect, but going to see this at the theater, man, this was something that Marvel needed. They've been lacking for a while.
I'd agree with you. They needed a movie to get them back on track after a couple stinkers.
Yeah,
The
more than a
franchise is
few.
going, yeah, more than a few. Yeah, it seemed like Marvel couldn't miss, and then all of a sudden it's like they can't get one. And finally, Thunderbolts comes around and breathes life into it. It was really a good movie, had that darker tone, and you were with it the whole time. Some interesting new characters. Bob bringing in Mr. Pullum there.
Lewis Pullman.
Lewis Pullman, there he is, coming in. Florence Pugh was great. David Harbour, of course. And just watching all these characters try to work together, this group of misfits, basically. And I loved what they did there. It was a really worthy movie. And if you don't know it by Thunderbolts, it was also called the New Avengers, like a week later, trying to bring in more eyes, because that's basically what the asterisk meant on the title. So we had seen the asterisk next to the title there on all the posters and marketing, and they finally revealed that pretty shortly after the first weekend at the box office. So that was interesting. But yeah, definitely one of the better ones. And then that kind of led right into another Marvel movie
The
that we watched.
Fantastic
That's right.
Four.
One that we were looking forward to a while. And we were both pretty happy with the results here. Enjoyed the setting and the direction, and yeah, I thought it was really cool. I can't wait to see these characters move forward from there. I like the cast. The cast worked really well. Sue Storm, she was the highlight there. Vanessa Kirby, and then
Pedro Pascal.
obviously Pedro as Reed. He did a great job. He's a great actor. He really can change like who he is, like completely different personality. Played like the straight scientist here, all business, and did a great job. Everybody in the cast here. We had Uncle Eben
Joseph Joseph Quinn.
and yes, Uncle Eben as Grim, and yes, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch.
And don't forget about Julia Garner for the third time and what 6 months of movies coming out with Silver Surfer. She was
Yeah.
okay. I mean, the villain I thought, per usual in most Marvel movies, is the weakest part.
Yeah, underwritten.
Yeah,
Yep.
underwritten. Could have done so much more. And I think practical would have been a more appealing approach to that character too. But yeah, the core characters here, the main ones, they're all fantastic. Beautiful looking movie, had that retro vibe, Jetsons vibe to it.
Yeah.
I just love the whole set, the aesthetic and everything. Costume design, everything looked amazing. How I envisioned it from the comics, reading those when I was a kid, and hell of a lot better than the other Fantastic Four movies, ones that came out in 2000s and the Michael B. and Miles Teller one. This one's the best one we've gotten so far for sure. Really great summer blockbuster, popcorn flick. Definitely one of the best of the year, especially in the superhero genre.
One last superhero movie that I'm going to mention. It actually wasn't on my top list, but just in the superhero genre, another one definitely worth mentioning. Superman. James Gunn's first foray here onto the big screen for DC, the new DC. He's done Peacemaker and he did Creature Commandos, but this is like his first big tentpole movie coming in and having to
Yeah.
reboot the Superman franchise and casting David Corenswet, Nicholas Hoult, Rachel Brosnahan. There are a lot of actors and actresses cast that we hadn't really seen a lot from before, and I thought he nailed it with the cast. David Cornsweet was a great Superman. Clark Kent, I thought. Wanted to see more of Clark, actually. Didn't get to see too much of him. So hopefully with the next one, there'll be more of him. But him and Lois's scenes, Rachel Brosnahan, I thought they incredible chemistry there. You know, Great for this big screen. All the action was really well done. Neat, introducing us to some characters that we didn't know before. And yeah, the special effects were great. A couple of them looked kind of shaky when he was flying, but overall, I thought, it's got to be comic booky. That's the only way you can do Superman. It's got to be straight from the pages of the comics. And I thought James Gunn really did a great job with that. Some funny parts, some funny scenes, and then, your heroic stuff. And I thought he nailed the tone of what a Superman movie should be.
Yeah, it was probably the closest to the source material for sure. The comics had the whole same vibe to it. The characters were fantastic, great acting in this. I loved the whole set design, the costume design. Yeah, the guy playing Superman, Clark Kent, was incredible. Supporting cast, Skylar Jacinda. I don't even know how I say it. I'll just
Jazanda.
I'll just call him Gideon from Righteous Gemstones. I liked him. He's been popping
Yeah.
up. A great young actor. Yeah, I had a fun time. I saw this movie in 3D over the summer. Only 3D movie I saw, and it was a fun time. It was like popping out of the screen, obviously, and it felt like you're in the movie. Great time in the movie theater with the family, and I had a great time with this too. I was kind of getting to the point. I'm like, I don't need any more Superman movies. Kind of over at this point, but gave me hope in this character in the right hands.
Let's talk about a couple more serious films. Let's talk about one that we watched within the past couple months here. And we'd been looking forward to it, seeing this director's previous works, we'll say. We're talking about a little movie that is called Bugonia, and it starred Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and just seeing the two of them at the top of their game, just wow. The performances in this movie alone were terrific. The whole premise, Emma Stone being this powerful CEO, Jesse Plemons, this kind of like conspiracy theorist kind of type, and believing that she's actually an alien from another planet here that's going to cause our destruction. So he kidnaps her along with this. I can't remember if it was a relative or a friend, but him and this other guy working together and kidnapping her and trying to get to the truth and make her admit that she's an alien. And as you can imagine, it just goes crazy off the rails. And directed by our uncle. What was his last?
Yorgos
Yorgos
Lanthimos.
Lanthimos. That's right.
Oh, I love Uncle Yorgos. Poor Things, Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Lobster. He's worked with Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons a few times now, and this movie's out there, and I absolutely loved it. I knew nothing about it. I just knew Emma Stone had like a shaved head. Went and fell in love with it. One of my favorite Yorgos flicks for sure. This movie, since we reviewed it, I've noticed a lot of people online have just are watching it recently. They're like, "It's incredible, it's amazing." So
Yeah,
I think we have something to do with that.
I'd like to think so too.
Spreading the
Yes.
love about this movie. It's definitely a movie you can't miss. Check it out. One of the best of the year for sure. It's
Yeah,
bonkers.
definitely. It's totally original, as all his films are. And yeah, Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons are terrific in it. Just watch it. You're gonna find it's really awesome movie. It was really good. Another movie that was in my best list. You might have heard of it, Sport. Caught Stealing.
No, never heard of it. You're talking about
Austin
Austin
Butler.
Butler,
Yes.
the drinking problem, past playing baseball, Giants fan, caught up with some bad people, and he doesn't think he's going to get out of it. And it turns into some crazy scenes in New York City. A
Yeah.
bunch of people show up along the way, and a lot of action. It was a fun time.
And totally different from what Darren Aronofsky usually does.
Right.
I was really impressed with this. Felt like a throwback movie. It's a movie like from back in the 90s. That's what it
Yeah.
felt like to me. Had a really fast pace and with the Russian mob and Liev Schreiber thought he was really funny too. As the like Jewish
Yeah.
Hasidic Jew along with Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, I was gonna say Uncle Vince is his brother too. Just really
Yeah.
fun time. Yes, it reminds me of like a late 80s, early 90s crime action kind of movie or something. Really fun time at the movie theater. Austin Butler was incredible in it. Love the cast. So definitely a movie people are sleeping on. Check it out. It's a good one. Also a great time at the movie theater. The one that you got me into a few years ago, one of the best of the year for sure. Another cinematic time at the local cinema. Watching this in the big screen, just fall into this world. Uncle Tom Cruise returning for the last time. The final Mission Impossible. I hope I hope not, but this movie was also very long, but a really great time. It flew by watching this, and really love the story, what it all has to do with, and it is a nice, I guess, send off. I could see them ending this once and for all, and it was a beautiful ending, I thought.
I'm gonna need you to trust me one
One
last
last
time.
time. Bam, bam, bam,
Love the franchise. Yeah, he just keeps doing stunts into his 60s. What a stud.
unbelievable. The final reckoning. Yeah, that was it. I took my wife to see it. Molly has no interest in Tom Cruise or any of these movies, and she's like, "Yeah, it was pretty good." She had a good time watching this, but I thought, Christopher McQuarrie taking over the Mission Impossible, franchise, Tom Cruise, they're just unstoppable. I love all the movies they do together. The stakes are always higher and higher each time, and this is be the end, right? The end of the world and everybody. So I think they went out on top. Really amazing action scenes in this movie. I just love the story, everything about it. I've rewatched it actually since it came out, and definitely one of the best of the year for sure.
Yeah, action packed, thrill a minute, like a being on an amusement park ride. Just fun. I
Um,
hope they come back in like 10 years for Tom to pass the torch to somebody new. That would be cool to keep the franchise going.
yeah,
Be a cool idea.
so for no reason at all, it's Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Oh no. No, I'm
Hopefully, they do
afraid
like a
not.
younger actor, even more unknown.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to see him come back and yeah, pass it off to the next agent they choose to accept. The other movie we reviewed not too long ago, finally got a chance to check on this out. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. I was just talking about this movie today with my coworkers. Everybody loved it. We loved it. Well done. Has a lot to say. Really great performances. I love Leo on this. Benicio,
Mm.
the rest of the ensemble. Has a lot to say what's going on currently. Beautifully shot. And yeah, just an absolute blast. watching this.
PTA coming back in, giving another awesome cinematic masterpiece here, and very relevant to today, what's happening in this current climate. Some great performances. Everything was great here. Really good time with one battle after another. Definitely a movie that you should have saw in the cinemas. I wish I would have got to see it in IMAX.
Another movie that comes to mind from last year, Tron, Ares. Finally watching that. I was blown away by that movie. Nobody liked it. I thought it was incredible. I think I just love the music so much in the movie that really sets the atmosphere. CGI looked great. I love Jared Leto in this movie. Jeff Bridges returning. I thought, yeah, it was just a fun ride. Really great movie. I felt like a lot of people were just hating to hate on it, but I had no problems with it. Um, some, some scenes were a little cheesy, but I still had a great time with this. I love the Tron movies, so more.
Yeah, you being a big Tron fan, you were into it more than me. But yeah, even I can appreciate the music and the score. That was really well done. Trent Reznor and Atticus
Atticus Finch?
Ross.
I know. Yeah, it really set the tone of the movie. I loved all the colors too, like the reds and the
That was
blacks.
really cool. Yeah, like the whole scheme of that.
The whole set of vibe, and I was there for it. Movie I'm adding to the home collection for sure. Another other films that came out were reviewed as well. Took the boys to see How to Train Your Dragon, the live action movie. Like I said, the review. I haven't seen the animated films, but I really love this movie. Beautiful looking movie. Loved all the dragons. I thought the CGI looked great. The cast, the whole set, costume design. They really set the atmosphere you would see in the kids movie.
It was like they brought the animated movie to life.
Yeah.
So I was really happy with it. We had a great time in the cinema. Great performances, and they're working on the sequel. I'm excited to see it. This one was a winner. Awesome special effects. I thought everything looked great, and a great performance there from the kid from Black Phone 2. I thought he was great in the role as well.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the sequel. Just having a really great time at the movie theater watching this, fresh eyes, not knowing too much about it, just knew the basic gist of it and actually fell into the story and the characters and a lot of great chemistry and leaves me wanting more. So I'm excited for the sequel to come out. Kind of in the same realm, kind of kid family friendly movies. One of my favorites of the summer theater experience with my kid was a Minecraft movie because he loves Minecraft and it was full of kids and freaking out and throwing popcorn and stuff. Just a really unique theater cinema experience, and I had a great time with this. I don't know too much about the video game. I don't play it, but yeah, this movie was a fun time. Jared Hess directed it. Jason Momoa, Jack Black were incredible in this movie. So fun, so out there, so goofy, and it was just a fun time.
I had a blast watching this in the cinema. It's just one of those movies you have to watch at the theater
Yeah.
with other people. Just makes it even that more special. It had everything funny. Jack Black was hilarious in it. Jason Momoa was really funny too. Seeing those two together, they made a great combo. And then seeing like the video game come to life, really well done. And yeah, definitely one of the best of the year for sure. Happy they're making more. We'll definitely go see part two.
Oh, sign me up. I'll be there opening night for sure. I'm around doing dances and stuff. I'll do
Yeah.
it. No, another movie, one of the best animated film of 2025. We just reviewed it, Zootopia 2. Liked it a little more than the original. Had a great time with this. Also, fun, time watching this with the family, laughing, loving the story, the characters, bringing in Ki Hoi Kwan this time around as a snake, a viper. It was a really great time. I was really impressed with this. Saw this around the holidays, jam packed. Everybody was there when this movie came out a month before that, so it was making a lot of money. Fun theater experience, fun for all ages.
It was a blast for sure. I love the franchise they have now here with Zootopia. Love all the characters, all the different animals. Voice actors are great. Jason Bateman, just a blast. A movie that you definitely want to take your kids to. This is one of the ones that I wanted to see like multiple times, and I would have if I would have had the time. But yeah, definitely Zootopia 2 is definitely on the top of my list too, and one that I look forward to watching again and probably adding to my collection. It's one of the best, recent Disney movies for sure.
Absolutely. You're the one that told me about it. I'm glad you did, my man, because I love both of these movies and definitely adding them to the home collection. Oh, some honorable mentions. I think those are pretty much it for most of my top films of 2025. I can go on and on for hours about these, but just quick quick overview of some films I had on my list that were a really great time last year. There's a lot of them in theaters or streaming. Toxic Avenger is what you're expected to be. Trauma films back in the day. Peter Dinklage playing the character in this new movie. It's grotesque. It's gross. It's bloody. It's fun. It's hilarious. It's over the top. It's everything you want in a film. One of the horror films that we had a great time reviewing, and one of the better ones of the year. But I'm biased because I love these type of movies.
And it's Uncle Steve's origin story. So of course we're gonna love it.
Grab me another beer. Yeah, pretty much. He's gonna get royalties in Miller Lite. Other ones that come to mind, had a great time with this movie. First time seeing this from the viewpoint perspective of a dog. I'm talking about Good Boy. Had a great time with this lower budget movie, short and sweet. Saw this at the theater during the Halloween season, and yeah, really enjoyed this movie a lot. Just what goes on with this owner and this dog, and what the dog has to go through, being a dog lover. Very unique. I had a great time with this. Other one that comes to mind, watched around Halloween season, Strangers Chapter 2, reminded me much of Halloween too. Really had a great time with this. Madeline Petch from, Riverdale playing the main Scream Queen in this new trilogy. Really edge of your seat, great horror scenes in this, great kill scenes, score, performances. The strangers are creepy as hell, per usual, and I'm excited for the next film in the trilogy. One of the better horror flicks of the year.
And just to mention some of my honorable mentions for best movies of 2025, I'm gonna list Wake Up Dead Man, the third film in the Knives Out trilogy at this point, bringing back Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc, everybody's favorite
Benoit,
detective. Josh Brolin, great cast here. Josh O'Connor coming in. A who's who, Jeremy Renner. Who else was in this? There's just a big
Glenn
cast here.
Close,
Glenn Close, yes,
Thomas
just
Hayden Church.
there you go. Just naming one after the other. I really like this mystery. I like the darker tone, the faith and religious aspect to it. I thought served the story and the whole movie as a whole. I thought it served it well. I liked what Ryan Johnson did with this one. I was guessing until the end, didn't know who did it. He threw out a lot of red herrings there within the story very cleverly. There were some twists along the way. Definitely a winning movie, and probably one, if not the favorite, the second favorite in the Knives Out trilogy next to the first one. Definitely better than the second one, I thought. Another movie that I'm going to put on my honorable mentions, Roofman from Derek Cianfrance, his newest film, kind of unknown, kind of came out and not a lot of people saw it. We saw it when it came out on digital. I really enjoyed it. I thought Channing Tatum played this part perfectly, didn't have to do too far of a stretch, kind of this down on his luck kind of guy, a family man, but just a fuck up. And he just couldn't get past that, a thief, an interesting setup where he breaks up, he ends up in like a Toys R Us and he's living in there and coming across the manager from Toys R Us, Peter Dinklage, and falling in love with one of the employees there and like start trying to start a family with her and like the repercussions of all that and like, his past crimes coming to fruition and catching up with him and just how he was able to portray like the guilt he felt for that and the way he messed up his relationship and didn't get to spend time with his kids and stuff. But I like that one. That was a good movie. Rough Man, Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst. I thought they were great together. Um, and then my final two I'll mention at the same time because they're in the same universe. We definitely need to mention Predator Badlands and Killer of Killers. So an animated film, and then Trachtenberg also doing the live action, and both were just unique.
Yeah, Predator Badlands, one of the better theater experiences for me towards the end of the year. I'm glad you're able to see this in the big screen because just the movie looks massive. I love everything about it. I love the story. I love the characters. I like Elle Fanning as a character in the new film. Dan Trachtenberg. directing this. I just love his vision for the new era of Predator, and I love where this is going. I wanted to see more of it. Of course, the animated film as well, which we reviewed. Also, a really great time. Different characters come across the Predator and movie. Definitely have to check out on Hulu. Let's see. A few more that I have, and then just some poor honorable mentions. Hard to believe. Final Destination, Bloodlines. It was a bloody good time. Probably one of the best next to the original. Final Destination, Bloodline starts off in a bang, literally. Death of a Unicorn, we saw together when you were here. That was just a wild out there movie. Paul Rudd and Ortega acid trip, pretty much. And that's what I have for best films of 2025. Oh, that was a mouthful, wasn't it?
There were a lot of good films last year, and we didn't even get to watch all of them. Marty Supreme we missed at the end of the year,
Yeah.
so we'll have to review those when they come out. But those are the ones that we watched and really enjoyed and recommend to you guys.
Yeah, that's a nice segue into the worst of the year. We were talking about Julia Garner earlier. Three big flicks, I guess, within 6 months. The worst being in January of last year, I believe it was Wolfman. Just a huge disappointment. Huge disappointment. I was so excited for it. Just was bland, not much to it, nothing really terrifying or dangerous. And I don't like the approach. I'm talking about Lee Winnell directing this, just the approach with the design of the creature. I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I just
Mhm.
didn't feel scared or I don't know, just was on the edge of my seat or anything. I'm just like, big letdown.
We were really hopeful for that with Lee Winnell coming in, and just the concept of it sounded awesome. But yeah, his swings on it and his takes on the actual Wolfman itself didn't ultimately work out. It looked kind of crappy, which was a bummer. We wanted to
Yeah.
see like a awesome, like classic looking Wolfman, and that's not what you get. And yeah, it just wasn't a good film overall. Had some good scenes in it, couple good scenes, and Julia Garner didn't really get to do a lot in this movie, just play kind of the scared wife. So yeah, disappointment for sure. We thought we were gonna get a really good Wolfman movie, and we didn't get a good one at all. It was one of the worst of the year for sure for me.
Black Phone 2 definitely comes to mind, the worst of the year. I remember kind of tearing it apart. I'm like, I appreciate the idea of a sequel, but it didn't really need to be made. A lot of stuff didn't make sense. Felt like a ripoff of like Nightmare on Elm Street and a bunch of other
Yeah,
movies. Movie
yeah.
just didn't bring anything new. It's like I thought the first movie was satisfying and where they left off with it. But yeah, just a huge disappointment. CGI mess. Nothing looked real in the movie. Really a big green screen. I don't know. Didn't like anything about it.
Another big mess of a movie, a video game adapted movie, Until Dawn.
This movie was
Just
awful.
yeah, just a
Awful.
bad movie. You saw it at the theaters and
I
sort of
did.
warned me. I watched it just so we could review it.
Us and two other people in the theater on opening night. Never a good sign. It was awful. This is one of the few movies I actually wanted to walk out. And I love, the game, PlayStation
Yeah,
game, but this one was just a huge freaking mess. Nothing really
yeah,
satisfying about it. Only when it ended. I'm like, thank God it's over.
yeah.
Bad.
The
Bad.
characters, yeah, nobody with any redeeming qualities or anybody to root for at all. You're just
Nope.
hoping they all just end up dying in a time loop and the movie ends.
That's exactly it. Yeah, just poorly executed. Don't see that one, folks. Talking about all that, another huge disappointment. Life of Chuck last year. Man, I was so excited for. We love Mike Flanagan, Cass, Tom Hiddleston. There's just nothing to it. I don't know. Just couldn't get into it. There's a cool
Me
scene
either.
with drums, and that's all I took out of it. Just real slow. So I don't know. I was expecting more, I guess, from Flanagan, and this one was just kind of average.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, unfortunately. I was looking forward to it. We love Mike Flanagan. He usually can't miss, and in this one there's just something missing. Just too lighthearted for Flanagan. He needs to do something with a darker edge. I think that's his sweet spot. But Tom Hiddleston, a good performance and everything, but yeah, I just didn't care for it too much, unfortunately. It tried to be like more artistic, and I didn't really care too much for it, to be honest with you. We're supposed to love Chuck, and I was like, okay, I just wasn't into the film, wasn't glued to the screen or anything, kind of run of the mill.
Definitely a big disappointment. Another one we took our kids to see, and they were hugely disappointed by this over the past summer. playing some baseball. Let's go to the movies. We saw Jurassic World Rebirth. 8 and 10-year-old are like, yeah, it's never a good sign, is it?
No.
These movies are tailored towards kids most of the time. Like nothing really good about it. I thought the hybrid dinosaurs, everything just looked terrible. Looked terrible. CGI didn't look good. I didn't care for the characters.
It
Bad.
just, goes through the list and checks off boxes at this point. Couple dinosaurs, the new mutated dinosaur version, B, they always do that in each of the movies, try to introduce you to something new. And it just never works. It's always CGI garbage. It's not practical anymore. So the magic isn't there. Just kind of a franchise now that keeps going. People still watch it, but there's no great qualities like there were in the original movies, especially the first two. Just doesn't have that magic, but they're going to keep making them. They're still successful. I mean, Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali. It was cool to see them in this world, but their characters didn't do anything special. So didn't like
Uh,
it.
oh, that's a rip off of Jaws. Oh, that's a rip off of Alien. Oh, that's a it's like it's so
Exactly.
uncreative. But yeah,
Yeah.
some big Hollywood A-listers, but they couldn't even save that movie. And even kids
No.
don't like it. So yeah, don't waste your time on that, folks.
What about Megan 2.0? That was another stinker from Blumhouse.
I
It
fell
really
asleep
started off bad.
fell asleep twice watching that, which is never a good sign. I was sitting
No.
up too. You know? Yeah, I love the first one. This one just yeah, missed the mark. I don't know. Just tried a different went a different way this movie, tried something different. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. Kind of
No.
tried to be a comedy at times. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I didn't
Like,
know what it was.
yeah, it was just uninteresting and just another movie we don't need a sequel for, but hey, what do I know?
No, it didn't do anything. It didn't propel the story any from the first one. Not worth your eyes on it. Another horror movie we can mention here. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Holy,
And I don't know what they did with that story or plot is a real title.
yeah, definitely on top of the list of worst movies of last year. Just a movie we didn't need.
No.
The people, the legacy characters they brought back didn't feel like they wanted to be there. Like it's just a big cash grab. Did nothing. Like that's I'll just go watch the original. That's the best one. Yeah, they try to bring the nostalgia and everything, the new cast. I don't know. It's so bland and not exciting at all or interesting. I'm just like, okay, that's predictable. They're predictable. Okay, wash it on my memory. It's gone. I don't want to think about that.
That's right. This is great because this will be the last time we think about that turd of a movie.
What do
Uh,
you
yes, even she came back and she couldn't save the movie. No. But could Brandy?
I hope so. To be continued.
All right. Yeah, please don't put it out of its misery. Another horror movie that really sucked in February, it dropped right around Valentine's Day. I'm talking about Hard Eyes, the Hard Eyes Killer.
Boring.
Was that like a CW horror movie? It's
Yeah.
like terrible.
It felt like it. Yeah, it wasn't even
Yeah.
good enough for Shudder. Like it was really bad. Also
Yeah.
very uninteresting. Didn't bring anything new. The mask was okay. That was the best part. The eyes
Yeah.
lit up, and the mask is the best part of a horror flick. That's never a good sign. Real bad.
No.
Don't
Yeah.
check it out.
Terrible twist. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely one you can skip for sure.
Him was that other movie. It was a Jordan Peele produced football themed horror movie. Try to swing for the fences, throw a lot of like religious themes into like a modern world with sports and selling your soul, and just felt flat for me. Try to throw too much at you. It was confusing at times. It was trying to be too interfaced with the religious stuff and a lot of imagery having to do with the Bible and scenes. I'm like, I don't know. Couldn't get into it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it missed the mark. Maybe if Jordan Peele would have directed it, I would have liked to seen that because I think there is kind of a cool story in there. It's just what they wrote and what they worked from didn't really work, unfortunately. So him's definitely one that you can skip.
Yeah, the other one, the last one on my list for worst of the year, the movie we never needed, but we got anyways. After a really successful TV show, I will add,
Yeah.
Karate Kid Legends. Like, why? I mean, the kid was great. There's some awesome scenes in the movie. He was in what, an hour and 30 minutes, I
Yeah.
believe, if I remember. Everything seems so rushed. You didn't get enough time with the characters, some other legacy characters popping up and get to the fight real quick. I'm like, I feel like it would cut out like an hour, hour and a half of this movie. Like it just did not flow. And yet again, the movie we didn't need.
They didn't take any time to flesh out the character of the villain, so you didn't really know what you were rooting against. I don't know. It was bad. And then they bring in Danielson, and he doesn't really do anything different or add anything to it.
No.
Jackie Chan, they were just kind of there, like, oh yeah, there's those characters from the Karate Kid movie. That's all the purpose they served. Yeah, it's just not good at all. The kid was really good. I will give them that. I wish they would have done something different with this movie, but yeah, it was definitely one of the worst of the year, unfortunately. I was looking forward to it. And yeah, like you mentioned, Cobra Kai should have ended the franchise there. Just keep it at that because that did a really good job of tying everything up and bringing all the old characters back and everything. There's not much they can do anymore. Just let that be it.
Just let it die with Cobra Kai. They're all
That's
getting too
right.
old.
No mercy.
No mercy. That's right. So those are the best and worst movies of 2025. Quite the list, quite the tongue twister going through and, going over the old reviews from 2025, sharing our thoughts on those. A lot of good ones, a lot of great horror last year. But now we're going to dive into television, TV, also a lot of stuff we talked about last year right here on this YouTube channel. The first one that comes to mind, one of my favorites, surprisingly, started out bad, got awesome. Welcome to Derry, one of my favorite TV shows. Really stayed true to the source material in the book and the horrors of Derry and the people and what this force is and all the shapes and different forms it shows up as throughout the series. Of course, finally seeing Pennywise towards the end, which we're all familiar with.
Skarsgård coming back as Pennywise and terrifying everybody here. Love the kids. They did a really good job acting. Very believable in, the 50s. A lot of the, sets and costumes, and it looked like it was shot back in the 50s and then introducing this evil to the town of Derry and, seeing all the ways that it possessed people and caused all these crazy things to happen. And they did a really good job. Andy Muschietti coming over and help crafting the show. I really enjoyed it. As you mentioned, yeah, it definitely gets better as it moves on. Like mid-season on, it just goes on a roll and finishes really strong. Love how it referenced other Stephen King works. I thought that
Shawshank.
was cool. Yeah, Shawshank and yep, definitely one of the best of the year for sure.
Really pleased with that one, and looking forward to more of that. They're going to have another season coming out. I don't know, sometime I would assume in the next few years. So very much looking forward to that. Love Stephen King, love it, love Derry, Maine, the whole backdrop in the universe. It's incredible. The next one of last year TV shows that we both enjoyed was Pluribus. Uncle Vince McMahon. Just kidding. Vince Gilligan, the man, the myth, the legend behind Breaking Bad. Of course, his new sci-fi series going back to his roots, writing for X-Files back in the 90s. Rhea Seehorn playing the main character in the show. We reviewed it not too long ago. Definitely a slow burn, much like his, other TV shows. It's really building this world into something crazy and incredible shots, all the famous Vince Gilligan shots up close, over the top, different weird angles, and just kind of the desolate place where Rhea Seehorn's character lives in New Mexico. She's the only one having to do this virus going on, and a certain amount of people are still alive, having to do with aliens and a bunch of crazy stuff that unfolds throughout the series. And comes to mind, one of my favorites of last year. Had a great time watching this.
Me too. Definitely one of the best, if not the best new show of the year. Coming from the genius mind of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, X-Files. Did so much right. It was awesome, original. You got that sense of isolation in this story. And I love the whole grocery store scene where the trucks come in and park and line up and some really memorable scenes here and really clever and interesting plot here and the way everything ends up towards the end there with the bomb being delivered. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happened this season, and Ray Seahorn definitely did a great job. And they deserve all the accolades for this. This is so well done, and I can't wait for season 2 of Pluribus on Apple. So, Logan, next on my list, and I'm sure it's towards the top of your list, another show that you didn't hadn't heard about before I told you, and we sort of started watching at the same time. Though, it was the weekend I was coming to your house, and I was like, "Hey, this show with Seth Rogen is coming out, and it's about how he's a studio executive, and it sounds interesting. Let's give this a shot. Let's see what this is all about." We threw on that first episode. I think it was the first two dropped, and we just like fell in love with what Mr. Rogen did, and of course, Evan Goldberg creating this character that is very true to life, how it is for celebrities and everything, and creating this like fictionalized version of Hollywood and bringing in all these A-list people, and creating this character Matt, who's somebody that you root for and you want to see succeed, but he always comes in into, he always runs into trouble at every turn, and he's got his buddy there, Sal Saperstein, Ike Barinholtz, to, sort of get him out of the trouble and help him find his way. Catherine O'Hara, so many awesome actors and actresses showing up in this first season. We are talking about another Apple original. It's called The Studio.
The studio. That is the longest intro I've ever heard of.
I know, right?
Yeah, give
Yeah.
away the whole show. And
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
you, yeah, driving up here to the Chicagoland area talking about the show. I'm like, I haven't heard of it yet again. And like Seth Rogen, studio execs, taking a look at the movie industry. We're big movie junkies here. The whole process, the filmmaking process, really dives into this. A lot of great comedy. My favorite episode being the one continuous shot. Just incredible how they filmed it. Just like so much anxiety, intense stress happening throughout a lot of these episodes of like making movies, and the hustle and bustle of Hollywood was just really well done. I can't wait for another season of this. Definitely one of the best of the year. It's a show I definitely rewatch.
Totally agree with you. Another great Apple TV show. They've got a ton of them now. Severance is definitely on my list for the best TV of last year, season 2. I thought I knocked it out of the park.
Same.
So awesome how they're, Ben Stiller, from his mind, Adam Scott is that character. Everybody's perfect in their roles. And just how, crazy and how much was revealed in that last season. Just went to some crazy places, reminded me a lot of, the big episodes of like Lost, and it has that same kind of big like feeling like this world's so massive, and then you're learning more about Lumen Industries and just all the different relationships in the show, and so many great performances. Severance is a great show. Season 2 was definitely one of the best of 2025.
I think that's the most talked about shows of 2025. Just work or out and about, hear people talking about Severance. It's incredible. Definitely don't sleep on that this show. Both seasons, the newest season was incredible. Love them both. I'm excited to see more of this. But yeah, everybody loves this show. Everybody's talking about it. Very unique, very out there. Makes you think. A lot of stuff you can relate to in today and your day-to-day job and stuff like that. It's really interesting, and really top-notch performance by Adam Scott. Check it out. Next up, I can go through our cowboy shows. There's quite a few last year. Tulsa King season 3. I know Landman started the new season. The Taylor Sheridan shows, all unique. 1923, I believe, came out last year, the season 2. Didn't like the first season, loved the second season. I thought it went out great ending with all the characters back in the 20s, ancestors of the Dutton family and everything like that. And then, of course, Mayor of Kingstown, season 4, which is also incredible. Just reviewed that, just watched that recently. Jeremy Renner, really awesome as the mayor himself, Mike, and all the craziness and awful things that happen in his world every season.
Every season, over and over, yes. And that's coming back for one final season. So that'll be interesting to see. We love all those shows. Taylor Sheridan's great. Just being on the topic of Taylor Sheridan and working with Paramount Plus, we'll mention Mobland, the new series with Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren. I really enjoyed this series. It felt like a kind of a different version, but similar to Gangs of London. It had that same kind of vibe as that show, and we both really enjoyed that show too. Mobland, I had a really great time with this show. Tom Hardy was awesome in this role, very believable. He's got a wife and, a family to protect, and he's kind of the enforcer. And, a lot of obviously mob drama that happens with this family and old secrets with, the past of Pierce Brosnan's character and Helen Mirren's character. And yeah, I thought that was an awesome first season and look forward to it coming back on Paramount Plus sometime here in the next couple of years.
We want more Paramount Plus. More,
More.
more. And March comes, we'll have some more with the
Yeah,
Madison.
that's right.
Other shows that come to mind, you just talked about it, Gangs of London, one of my favorite TV shows since the first season. I love it. Bigger, crazier, bolder, louder, more blood shed every season. We always have the opportunity to go back to the homeland across the pond to watch this at Sky Network when it drops each season. Coming back home here to review it for all of you, and I always love reviewing Gangs of London. Love the last season, and I'm looking forward to more.
Great show. Love that cast. Seeing what happens in the new season kind of shocked me. I didn't know that they were going to do that. And yeah, I was fully invested the
Surprise!
whole time. Yeah, surprise. And, seeing those episodes just gets more brutal and the stakes get higher every season. So definitely one to check out. Gangs of London. Yeah, like you mentioned, having to go over and watch it over in England. Well, soon it should all be released over here in the States through, AMC, and I know Netflix ends up eventually with it. So keep your eyes peeled. It might even be streaming now. I don't honestly know. But check AMC Plus and AMC. They usually air Gangs of London the first two seasons anyway, so they should get the third. Something else on my best TV list for this year, just to name another one. Let's mention Task on HBO. We both really enjoyed this show, this tense drama, crime drama. Great cast. Mark Ruffalo coming over, Tom Pelphrey. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo gaining some weight to play this agent. And Tom Pelphrey, another great performance. We remembered him as the brother who was, similar character on Task here, but with Task, he just took it to a whole nother level of this kind of character. You know, you sympathize with them and you're kind of with them. And then the girl that played his, I believe it was his niece, was really great. What's her name? Amelia Jones? Is that her name?
Amelia Jones. Yep.
Yeah, she was terrific in this. She should have got nominated for that. She was, yeah, probably, uh, next to the leads there. Yeah, she was great. She was a lead on her own and did a great job, acting in that role. That was a great series. I was thrilled to the end and, would love to see it continue, with the characters that survive. We're not going to give any spoilers here, but, some people die, some people live. But it was a very interesting take and written by the, creator of Mayor of Easttown, which, it felt very similar to that. He gives depth to all the characters, even the minor characters. It just feels alive. You're with it and you want to know and find out what happens next in the story. It's riveting and a great watch, and you can watch it on HBO. Currently, especially if you have HBO Max, you can stream it anytime. And another on my list is actually from HBO. So let me just say it right now. One that your wife actually got me into. I'd heard about it, but then she said she watched it, and I was like, oh, I need to check this out. But definitely a winner, and it's unofficially the sequel to ER. It's the same writer and everything, but they couldn't get the rights. But they bring back Noah Wyle. He's now Dr. Robbie Rabinovich, and he is the, lead doctor in this Pittsburgh emergency room. And it's over one shift, 12 hours, I believe. And it goes through a whole day with that character. And, something, a traumatic event happens and they get an influx of patients in the ER and they just have to deal with it. A lot of great supporting characters here, a lot of young actors. Bryan Cranston's daughter plays a character in there, one of the young doctors. She does a
Really?
great job. Yeah, she's the one with the glasses.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think she's has like autism or Asperger's or something. Yep, that's Bryan Cranston's daughter, and then Fiona Dorff's in it.
Of course.
But yeah, definitely Noah Wiley definitely stands out there. He's just so great as a doctor. He just fits into that role so well. Their dialogue and like the scientific terms and stuff, they're actually pulling from real things. So the stuff that they mention, mostly, they dramatize stuff to the max, but they use correct medical terminology and like the lab values and stuff, I'm familiar with. So I hear that and I'm like, oh yeah, that's something that you'd actually say. That's a test that's actually ordered. So very realistic, but of course there's drama. It is a drama. So you get, you know, cases that you wouldn't normally see, just working a regular weekend shift. But it's a good series. And, Sean Hattasy too plays this character on there from Robbie's past that comes in. And just the two of them have this really interesting relationship. And I want to see that moving forward into the second season, which has started now. But yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite of the year, The Pit.
Check it out. It's right up your alley there, my friend, and the health medical field, lab, the high intense ER. I see you back there in your scrubs, ready to rock and roll. Somebody comes.
Yeah.
It's not even close to reality. But I figured
Right.
you like that show. What you do, it's what you know. I love it.
Yeah.
I've only seen a few episodes, so I have no major opinion of it so far. Um, I need to go back and rewatch it just based on that alone. One of my favorite television shows out there, right in our backyard, homeland here, Chicago. We're talking about, yes, chef, The Bear.
The Bear.
Carmi and crew are back at it the last season. Did I love it as much as the other three? No, but I really enjoyed it still. I love the ending of it. I love what everybody's going through, the backdrop of Chicago, which is like a whole another character of the show. We know how the people are, how fast paced it is, and you work for everything, and it just throws a lot at you and everything these characters go through. And Jeremy Allen White, of course, just crushing it as Carmi in this season. Of course, his family showing up and all the chaos that ensues. And yeah, really had a great time with the last season of The Bear. I'm looking forward to more.
We love The Bear. Every season, the family dynamic there, the cast that they put together just works so well. They seem like a family in their own right, and they bring in A-list stars every season. Season 4 wasn't any different. It was another winner. Jeremy Allen White's awesome. I remember, first time seeing him on Shameless. I knew there was something special, and just seeing how he's blowing up now, and great actor, great young actor. He can do it all. And the bear, is definitely one of his signature characters here. Kermie. And season 5, should be out hopefully sometime this year. Really looking forward to more in the kitchen with those chefs.
Hey, Jeremy Allen White, Lip Gallagher. Yeah, I remember he was a young teenager, a young kid back in those days, and how much he's grown up into an adult man now and doing all these huge roles. And yeah, I just want to continue seeing his career blow up. An incredible actor. It seems like a cool dude, like a guy I would hang out with. He seems
Yeah,
pretty down to
down to
earth.
earth. Yep.
And there's so many shows that came out last year. Cobra Kai was final season. Talking about Karate Kid earlier. Cobra Kai, incredible. Binge this one in one day. Love the ending of it. I think it was the true ending to the Karate Kid, franchise. The movie they made after this was made no sense. This is the perfect ending for me.
Yeah.
That
Cobra
was
Kai definitely deserves a mention here. Overall, an awesome addition to the franchise. Seeing Johnny Lawrence again. It got kind of redundant, as the seasons went on, but it sure started out awesome and ended awesome too. The finale was great, those last episodes, and hit the tearjerker button there a couple times at the end, and was able to tie everything up pretty well. Cobra Kai was great. We enjoyed it, seeing old Kreese and Silver come back and see their body doubles flying all over everywhere. It was pretty cool.
so ridiculous and over the top and something we would write. That's how Cobra Kai, that's how you summarize it. It was such a fun ride and sad to see those characters go. I love seeing them as the new grumpy old men. Just always getting into fights, never getting along. Rivalries never die. Next up, I have a few shows, few Disney shows that I had a really great time with last year, real quick. Star Wars Skeleton Crew, Jude Law, kind of had a Goonies vibe to it. Really had a great time with that series. Reviewed it. Andor season 2, I believe it was. Andor,
Yeah.
incredible. It's like a movie every episode. One of
Yeah.
the best Star Wars series we've had, like, ever. Like, it's true to the original movies and characters, and dark, and a lot is on the line. Yeah, just incredible series.
I agree with you on Andor. Terrific vibe. You know, Diego Luna, perfect for that character. Just a dark look at the Star Wars universe. I loved what they did there. Some chilling moments there. Yeah, the tension was ratcheted up in most of those episodes.
Yeah,
Loved how it ended,
yeah.
you know, kind of right before Rogue One. Loved how they did that. But yeah, definitely a couple awesome, you know, additions to the Star Wars franchise for sure with Skeleton Crew and then Andor season two.
That's right. Andor.
Let's make sure to mention on our list of best TV of 2025 the return of Dexter.
Dexter who? Dexter Howlett
Morgan.
from The Offspring?
Morgan, everybody's
Oh,
favorite killer.
Dexter Resurrection. That show was incredible. One of the best. I was blown away by this. I'm like, I don't know. Do we need more Dexter? Yes, we need more Dexter. New York City alongside his son in this series, a group of serial killers, totally different, atmosphere, vibe. Seeing this character going back to being what he's known for, right? Killing people and having to do a bunch of crazy stuff. Yeah, I really love this series. Had a great time. It was refreshing, brought a lot of new stuff to it. Still had the classic Dexter in it. I love the music. Yeah, it was just a fun ride.
Bringing it over to New York, I thought that was a really big reason too, just that big city.
Yeah, you
Oh, the
can hide.
possibilities were limitless, yeah. And that's what Dexter did. He hid it out, you know, he hid out with that guy, with the taxi driver, and the whole story with all the serial killers. I thought that was really well done. You know, seeing Prater and his whole museum to serial killers, that was really cool.
It was. It was like I could see this happening. That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
really great season. I want more Dexter. I love Michael C. Hall. His best character he's played, of course, is what he's known for. He just nobody else can play this but him. It just makes me leave and wanting more. The other series that came out, the TV shows that came out last year that come to mind, Alien Earth on FX. We reviewed that really incredible series. We got Predator now and Alien, with
Yeah.
Kyle Chandler's daughter in the lead role in this series, Timothy Oliphant. Just really cool set design. I love the aliens in this. The practical effects, Noah Hawley, the
Yep.
showrunner of this Alien Earth. Fargo in space, we called it, and that's pretty much it with all these quirky characters and everything that happens with them. And yeah, makes me leave in wanting more Alien, more Predator, both of them, and then eventually Alien versus Predator.
Exactly. I was going to mention that. Noah Hawley keeping the Alien franchise alive. And then on the other side, Dan Trachtenberg with Predator. Let's bring those two together at the end and see what happens. That'd be awesome. With the same, you know, strong writing. That's what we need. Love to see those franchises, you know, fully merge. You know, they've been hinting towards it for a while and building it up. So I think they finally will eventually.
Yeah, good. We'll finally get a good Alien versus Predator. The other movies are absolute
Yeah.
garbage. Other series we watched around the Halloween season, Monster Ed Gein. Hello, Mother. Charlie Hunnam was so
Yeah.
terrifying in this. Totally oddball role, something you never see him play, but I thought he was incredible in this. Horrific, grotesque, alarming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the just so many different emotions and things that happened in this. It was just, yeah, it was creepy as hell. Perfect, series to watch during the Halloween season.
Uncle Charlie Hunnam playing the cannibalistic killer there. It was definitely wild, and yeah, I really loved it too. Love that series.
Yeah, same here. Uh, the final season of You came out last year. Netflix. Again, kind of the younger version of Dexter Morgan. Everything this character's been through. What's his name? Joe Goldberg. Everything, all the people he's killed, all the different girlfriends throughout the series. finale last year. That was pretty good. Not my favorite season, but I thought it was a good send off, good ending with that, and another kind of spooky series TV show came out last year. I always thoroughly enjoy Yellow Jackets on Showtime. It's always a good series. I always like it. Do something different. The soccer team stuck out in the middle of the wilderness trying to survive, cannibals, crazy
Yeah.
stuff going on in the forest. Yeah, it's a fun show to watch.
I'll go ahead and name a couple more of mine. Season 7 of Black Mirror.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I thought that batch episode was really strong. Paul Giamatti coming in.
yeah.
There were some really good episodes. We love that, and we thought this season was really well done. Can't wait for more of that, of course. We had another season of White Lotus season 3 with Uncle, Walton Goggins and Patrick Schwarzenegger and Jason Isaac. And yeah, just a really crazy season that, went into some places that the White Lotus hasn't went before in Thailand. And, I loved how the season built up and, finally popped off towards the end there. Mike White just has a great original franchise here, and he can just take it to a different location every year. And he hasn't missed yet. And season 3 wasn't any different.
Next
Other,
season, Jacksonville, Illinois. Beep, beep, beep,
You're
beep,
right.
beep, 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 beep.
For real. Yeah. No kidding. It's that big Ray's oil change. So another show I'm going to mention, one that we both watched, The Beast and Me on Netflix towards the end of last year. Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys. Just a really terrific binge. That was a really fun Netflix binge, one of our favorite of the year. Seeing the two of them go back and forth, a writer and then this really shady wealthy, real estate investor basically, and seeing like his family and his family's pull, very wealthy and powerful. And, some characters start going missing and come up dead, and all eyes are on Uncle Matthew Rhys the whole time. And yeah, just a really well done binge. Love that. I know you did too. We both highly enjoyed that binge. So you can watch that on Netflix. Let's also mention, I'm going to mention The Chair Company. We love Tim Robinson. It's definitely worth a mention there. Original HBO comedy, just out there, just couldn't be thought of or written down by any other mind but from Tim Robinson. He's just a clever, funny guy. Seeing him get into those awkward situations and see him try to, slowly kind of lose his mind and freak out about things and build up anger, and nobody does it better. But yeah, definitely out there, crazy half-hour show. Happy that it's on now that Gemstones is over. I have another comedy on HBO to watch, so that's good. And I really enjoyed that season. We both had a really good time watching it. And then I'm gonna mention one final show, a show that you haven't got a chance to watch yet, but one that we kind of missed. We got really busy in September and October. Dropped on Netflix. Stars Jason Bateman and Uncle Jude Law, Black Rabbit. And I just finished that yesterday, and I was like, damn, that was good. Limited series. It's only going to be these 8 episodes. Great cast, just the two of them, but also the guy from Coda, the deaf guy from Coda's in it as like the
Mm.
one of the dads. Has a great cast. The premise is really cool. Like they're brothers. Jason Bateman's character, Vince, and then Jake, played by Jude Law. Jude Law has an American accent. It takes place in America. I believe it's New York, if I remember correctly. But he has this restaurant. They're kind of in the restaurant business. Jason Bateman's character is kind of a druggie. He lives in California, I believe. In the beginning, he gets into trouble, so he has to come back home. And they sort of get back together. And of course, trouble ensues. It involves Black Rabbit, which is their restaurant. And, the brothers have to work together to kind of get out of this big mess. And has a lot of drama, and a lot of great performances. Jason Bateman like turns into a completely different person, long hair, beard, just plays this character, you know, just like people we knew, like the shady people are always looking for the next score. He just plays that really well. And Jude Law playing this, the straight man, and they both did a really good job. But yeah, I thought it was a great binge, and definitely one that I wish I would have watched right away when it came out. But yep, that's called Black Rabbit, and it's on Netflix.
I'd add that to the queue, my friend. Sounds super, super awesome. I love both of those actors. And now the worst TV shows of 2025. My list is pretty short, which is always a good thing compared to the best. Worst five come to mind, for sure. Right off the bat, Last of Us season two, awful. I'm not going to beat it like a dead
Oh,
horse,
excuse
but
me.
like everybody was talking about, just some, I don't know, some casting choices, story choices. Um, I don't know, silly episodes. The video game series is incredible. One of the best ever for sure. Just love the story of Ellie growing up, what happens to Joel, her relationships, the people she meets along the way, Abby. Like, I don't know. I just couldn't get into it, really any of it. The second season, I really enjoyed the first season, second season. Meh.
I agree with you. It didn't flow as well as the first season. The first season felt like it was plucked right from the game, and then the second one, it started feeling like they were taking a lot of liberties with the source material, taking it into places where the game didn't take it. Caitlin Dever's cast as Abby. I mean, she's great. Don't get me wrong, and she can play that character, but she doesn't look like the video game source material. It's supposed to be physical. I just didn't buy that part, and then just like you mentioned, it was kind of like a slow slog of a season. It just had a few action-packed episodes, a few memorable things, but all in all, yeah, definitely not memorable like the first season was. So that was definitely on my list too. Let's mention the next one here. I'm sure it's on your list too. Goosebumps: The Vanishing.
Oh God. I was already out of sight, out of mind, like one ear out the other. Awful. I don't think I liked anything about that. The other Goosebumps series I had was cool. I like the movies, but this one just I had so many issues with it. None of it was really interesting. Bad casting. David Schwimmer. I don't understand that. A lot of CGI mess in this.
Yeah.
Characters were unbelievable. Teenagers. Yeah, it was a mess.
Yes, another lifeless Goosebumps adaptation. The worst of the Goosebumps stuff. Even the last first season, or the first season that came out, was better than this by far. This one is definitely not worth your time. Tried to take like a, you know, teen, harder teen approach like to the source material and kind of play at a harder edge, but it just didn't work. Like you mentioned, too much CGI, characters you don't really care about. It was a stinker. I'm going to throw in a couple animated shows from Marvel onto my worst TV shows, starting with season three of What If.
What if you
No,
met?
not the Creed song. That would probably be even better than this season. But yeah, What If, working with its last episodes that it had, it just didn't do anything new or exciting. It felt like they had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for characters, and you know, I couldn't even tell you one of the episodes off my mind right now. That's how forgettable and bad it was this season.
Yeah, there's like a Marvel Zombies, I think. It's like it's a or
That was a whole different
wait, no.
season. Yeah, that
See,
was a whole
yeah,
different.
I can't
Yeah.
remember an episode about it. Yeah, I'm right
That
with
was
you.
also on my list. Yeah.
I really liked What If first two seasons. I like what they're
Yeah.
doing with it. Is What If scenarios of characters that never come across one another. But yeah, so
Yeah.
forgettable.
Yeah.
Just
It was
just
bad.
didn't didn't have the same effect as the other two. I definitely agree with you. Peacemaker season two. I don't know. I couldn't get into that this past season as much either.
No.
I just felt like it was not as funny. There's some
Yeah.
funny characters,
Agreed.
but first season was hilarious, and this season was kind of like depressing at times with John Cena's
Yeah.
character just kind of down in the dumps, and it's like the 80s music. I don't know, just wasn't feeling it.
I felt the same about it. It was on my list too. Didn't really have a lot of redeeming qualities this season. It was good. It was all right, but was expecting more and thought it would have more bearing, like going into like the new DC universe. But it felt pretty unsubstantial by the end of things.
I don't know. At that point, I was just like, are we gonna get any Peacemaker? I'm okay. If we don't.
Yeah, yeah,
I know the other boys in Cinephellas really enjoyed it. I don't know, just couldn't get into it as much as the first season. Yeah, then leading up to the worst. The most recent, the biggest disappointment for me being a huge fan, I meant overall the season, Stranger Things. I don't know. Just too much time had passed and just a lot of mistakes and a lot of
Yeah.
characters they forgot about. And the finale, which was lackluster, I thought, first hour especially, just seemed too convenient. Everything was on the line.
Yeah.
And just rewatching the first four seasons and watching the final season again. Season four was incredible. It was dark as hell. It was scary.
Mhm.
Vecna was incredible. There's just so many problems with the new season. I didn't like how they broke everything up. The second part of the second release, I think Christmas, didn't like really any of those episodes. And the finale, I was waiting for it like everybody else in the world. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked one one out of 2 hours of the finale of them like where they're at as adults. I thought that was beautiful. Kind of had like a Spielberg feel to it,
Mhm.
coming of age, like full circle moment, of passing the torch of the D&D game, what this whole show's about, to his younger sister and friends, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
And seeing where all these characters go. But overall, I was huge disappointment, especially rewatching this. Totally let me
Yeah.
down.
After setting the bar so high and the stakes were so high, it just was anticlimactic, especially with the battle with the Mind Flayer and Vecna. Too easy. Defeated too easy. That's,
Yeah,
yeah, that was my big gripe with it. And I thought some of the character work with Eleven and Hopper, it just didn't seem as like strong of a bond there as it did. Like, they should have brought it back to the first season. They weren't able to portray that strong bond again. I didn't get that same feeling that I was hoping would they'd be able to bring back that heart, because it really started with them, finding each other and him being like the dad. He was just kind of all over the place this season. I don't know what the problem there. There was some weird shit on the set, something with them. You could tell something was off just to the character. But like you mentioned, I think the biggest problem, so much time has elapsed. They're different people now. They're all grown up. They're going into adulthood here, playing 17-year-olds. It was time to end it. Unfortunately, disappointed because the bar was set so high. It wasn't altogether terrible. It was just a disappointment, and that's why it ended up on my worst TV show list, especially the coming out episode of Will. Why waste all that time on that? I just didn't understand, including the whole Will coming out to his friends thing, the way that happened. It's just unbelievable in a death scenario. Like, who cares? It's not important. The world's about to end. Do you want to live, or do because that stuff's not even going to matter if you're not breathing still. I just didn't
yeah.
get that. And there's some questionable stuff, and also I thought Linda Hamilton's character was underwritten. Like, what was that? It was just like a
Nothing.
cutout. It could have been anybody. Disappointed with that.
There's no character arc.
No.
There's the villain. No real danger either. Just there, and some other useless villains.
Yeah.
Just a lot of silly mistakes. Kind of
Yeah.
watching it over and kind of more deeper analyzing the newest season compared to the others. Like rewatching the others first time in a long time, man, they're incredible. That's why that's still one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Netflix shows for sure, but first four seasons are outstanding, I think. And then
Mhm.
season five just total dip. It's disappointing. It's hard to stick the landing for TV shows. Like a lot of
Yeah.
TV shows have that problem ending it, perfectly. And this is huge disappointment. I have to say, just rewatching it recently. Yeah, probably my worst TV show of 2025, unfortunately. So I want to hear from all you wild rascals out there. What did you like for TV and movies in 2025? What didn't you like about them? Do you agree with our list? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to stab, whoosh, subscribe. Also, check out these wild dogs on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV and movie news and reviews.
Woo. So that was our best and worst of list for 2025. What does 2026 have in store for us, do you think?
More entertainment.
Absolute cinema. That's right. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you added a couple of those movies that you heard and hadn't got a chance to see yet. We try to feed you guys, movies and shows that you should check out and like put your time towards. And we hope that you won't be disappointed with what we picked for you, but those were our best. Then we also listed some of our least favorites and worst of the year. There are so many. It's a new year. There's a lot to look forward to. Can't wait to be back with our list of best and worst of 2026.
So that's it for these two wild dogs. Signing out till the next time. I'm Logan Myers. It's my good mate over there.
And I'm Henry Hill, and as we like to say, cheese!